see issues. He has to do footwork better than what he can do.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? Noah Gray here, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Josh's channel and check out showmefootball.com for more.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to another video on my channel, or another live stream, you could say. My name is Josh Fan of showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, and I am finally live to react to the Kansas City Chiefs 2023 NFL Draft first round. I'm going to be reacting to all the picks leading up to when the Chiefs pick. I know I'm a little bit late. I missed the first few picks, but I figured I didn't miss much. Although, I mean, we did have a little bit of a surprise. The Houston Texans traded back up to number 3 overall after selecting C.J. Stroud 2nd overall, and they went ahead and picked up Will Anderson, who is the top defensive end in this draft. It's not even close. Tyree Wilson was getting a lot of hype. Will Anderson was by far the best defensive end prospect in this draft. And then the Colts went ahead and took Anthony Richardson 4th overall. And I think they did that because I think Seattle was going to take Anthony Richardson. I'm being completely honest with you guys. I think Seattle was very interested in Anthony Richardson. And even if they didn't take him there, I think they would have traded up for him later if he was still available. But anyway, guys, a lot going on. I'm going to be live streaming the majority of the first round because I expect the Chiefs to trade up at some point. I think it's just all the smoke, all the tea leaves I've been reading, everything that I've been seeing. I believe the Chiefs are trading up in this draft. I feel like once we get into the 20s, that's all a fair game. That's all within striking distance for the Chiefs, and it also depends on just who's available and how the board falls. With 3 quarterbacks going in the top 5, though, that's a good thing because the more quarterbacks that are taken, the better for Kansas City. More prospects that aren't QBs will get pushed down for them to potentially select. But as we stand, the Chiefs are selecting at 31. I would also like to say to you guys that I appreciate anyone that jumps in here tonight. I don't expect too much. I don't expect a lot of you guys to be here because I know Cole from How About Those Chiefs is having a stream. I know RGR is having their stream. Arrowhead Addict, where I write, is having their stream. And all those guys do a ton of great work. So you don't have to be here the whole time. I understand those guys got their streams too. And Chiefs fans are going to be watching them too. So I appreciate y'all if you do join me at any point tonight and watch me react to all the draft picks. And I won't be talking the entire time. There might even be some times where I hop off to do some stuff. Because I got so much other stuff going on. Also, the Celtics play tonight, as Marlon knows. I'm a Celtics fan. He said, go Celtics in the chat. I'm also watching their game, so I might be switching back and forth between the draft and the Celtics game. So, yeah. And then also, in case any of you ask, I cannot show the draft on my screen. That is a copyright strike. That's illegal. I can't show the draft. I can only let you guys kind of listen to it with me and then react to the picks as they come. And, of course, I'll let you know what the picks actually are. And then the picks that are made, we'll kind of go over them, react to them. And then on the Chiefs one more specifically, we'll do some in-depth reaction, instant analysis, that sort of thing. So, yeah, I'm kind of a Twitter guy, to be honest with you all. I'm going to be reading the picks off of Twitter whenever they come out. I will not wait for the TV to say the pick. If I see it on Twitter, I'm going to shout it out and tell you what the pick is. So, yeah. But, yeah, the Colts went big, and they went with Anthony Richardson. I feel like most of them expected to go after Will Levis, but no, they went Anthony Richardson. And that's a big risk at 4th overall, guys, drafting Anthony Richardson, because even though he's got a ton of athletic ability, he had the best RAS score all time for a quarterback, I'm pretty sure, like even better than Cam Newton. The physical traits are, I mean, they're fantastic. But that being said, Anthony Richardson is very raw. He's not a guy that I think should be starting right away. I don't know what Indianapolis has planned for him, because I think he's a guy that's going to need some work. And you look at his completion percentage in college, it was not very good. And completion percentage, accuracy, that's not really something that changes as you jump up to the pro level. That's not something that a quarterback typically improves on once they become a pro, transitioning from the college game. Josh Allen is a very rare example. Josh Allen even took years to develop. So I don't know, man. Anthony Richardson, like, the arm talent is intriguing. The athleticism is intriguing. But I just question him so much as a thrower, as a decision maker. And that's a big deal when you're playing quarterback in the NFL. So we'll see how it works out with Richardson. But I can understand being intrigued by the upside if you're Indianapolis. Well, hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Wahoba says L Colts Cap dominated for like 2 years. Same with Cam. Yeah, I'm assuming you are implying that Anthony Richardson is he's going to be more of a short-term quarterback. That kind of guy maybe dominates in a short stint. Pick is in for the Seahawks. I'm trying to find out who it is. I'm gonna say it's Jalen Carter. We'll see though. Oh wow! The Seahawks are selecting Illinois cornerback Devon Witherspoon. Wow. So I actually have a couple of friends, Tino and Braden. Braden, sorry, you might have seen on my channel before, who I do the Cardinals show with, and he's done some other stuff, Battlehawks, that kind of thing. He's a Seahawks fan. They did not want Devon Witherspoon. They thought he would absolutely not be worth the pick. They liked Christian Gonzalez better than Witherspoon. So seeing them select Devon Witherspoon, one, it's surprising. I thought they would have went Jalen Carter or maybe a pass rusher, or even Tyree Wilson, that kind of pick. But Devon Witherspoon at 5th overall. Wow. First cornerback off the board, Witherspoon. Interesting. Very interesting. Wow. Seahawks go with the cornerback, 5th overall. That is, you could tell they thought he was the best player available right there, because Jalen Carter was on the board, Tyree Wilson was there. I don't think many people expected both of them to be available at pick number 5. Seahawks go with the cornerback. So, shocker, honestly. Because the Seahawks really need a pass rush and defensive line help. But, I mean, they did get an elite cornerback prospect to pair up with Tariq Woolen. And the Seahawks, they were one of the worst run defense teams last year in the league. Witherspoon will at least come up in the run game and make some plays. Good tackler. So, I mean, I'm not saying Witherspoon's a bad player. I'm just surprised the Seahawks went with a cornerback at 5th overall with the guys that were on the board. I just realized this entire time that I was using my webcam mic and not my Yeti mic. There we go. That probably sounds a lot better for you guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was on my webcam mic the entire time and not my Yeti mic. But there we go. Now you guys don't have to run away because my sound quality is so bad. Connor Christofferson, who a lot of you guys probably know on Twitter, he tweets that Witherspoon really feels like a we wanted Anthony Richardson pick, and I could not agree more. It definitely feels like they wanted Richardson, and they kind of went with some just – I don't want to say panicked, but – I think they really wanted Richardson guys. Interesting. Well, now that the Lions on the clock, I'm going to switch to the Celtics game and see what's going on with them. Lions are on the clock. Oh, here we go. The Cardinals are moving once again. The Arizona Cardinals are trading with the Lions for the Lions' current pick. So the Lions will not be making the selection here. We are going to be seeing the Arizona Cardinals move back up into the top 6 here after trading with the Texans earlier in the night. Interesting. We'll see what the Cardinals do. Honestly, guys, it felt like the top 5 was pretty much set on like who was going to be taken. We knew who would be off the board, but I'd say we've gotten a lot of surprise so far. I mean, I don't think many people predicted this happening. So, interesting draft night so far, honestly. I wonder who Arizona wants here. They might see that Jalen Carter and Tyree Wilson are still on the board, and they're trying to get one of them. Wouldn't blame them. All right. Cardinals now have a couple minutes to make the pick. Trying to find out who the pick is. I'm honestly shocked at how early Anthony Richardson actually got taken. I thought the Seahawks were the team for him, and if he didn't get selected there, he could have been anywhere from pick number 10 to end of the first round. But no, he goes 4th overall to Indianapolis. So Cardinals traded back from 3 to 12 and then back up to 6. A lot of movement. But they got to have their eye on somebody here. All right. I think I found out the pick. Is it Paris Johnson? I think it might be Paris Johnson, the tackle. The package that the Texans traded to go back up to number 3 is significant. They traded pick 12, 33, and a 2024 first round pick and a 2024 third round pick. Cardinals got, of course, pick 3 and pick 105. Or they traded pick 3 and pick 105. My bad. I can't find the tweet on who it is, but Goodell's about to say it. Yeah, it was Paris Johnson, who I think they probably wanted to take at 3, figured they could move back and still get him. So, I mean, it's smart by the Cardinals, and it's smart by the Cardinals to get all those picks back from the Texans because they were offering a king's ransom just to move back up for Will Anderson. And Will Anderson's a damn good prospect. Man, that's a lot, especially when it's not a quarterback. Usually you don't give up that much to move up in the draft unless you really like a quarterback. For an edge, I mean, edge is a premium position still, but still a lot to give up. I will say I'm also surprised that we saw nobody trade for DeAndre Hopkins before the draft started. Doesn't mean it still couldn't happen because DeAndre Hopkins wasn't getting traded for a first-round pick, I don't believe. So it could still happen. It could happen before day 2, but just surprised we haven't seen anything by now. And the later we get into the draft and DeAndre Hopkins still isn't traded, the more likely it is he just gets straight up released, which would actually make him a lot more realistic for Kansas City. Because as of right now, the Chiefs can't really trade for DeAndre Hopkins because they don't have the money, guys. They don't have the cap space. They have just enough cap space to sign their draft class, and that's really it. I will say, too, while you guys are in here, if you have any questions, comments, anything like that, hey, throw them down below because I'm here to answer questions, too, because we're going to have a lot of time until the Chiefs pick, and we're going to have a lot to talk about. But also there's going to be times where I don't have too much to talk about. So if you have a question, go ahead and throw it down there, and I'll answer. But Paris Johnson, who was pretty comfortably OT1 in this draft, he goes to Arizona, who I think they probably would have taken him at 3. So still get who they want while adding some more assets. Raiders are up next. It'll be interesting to see who they get because we know how bad the Raiders have been at drafting the last several years. Watch them be the Keon White team because I don't want the Chiefs to take Keon White. The Raiders took him, I'd laugh so hard. All right. Marlon asks, who are the Chiefs picking? I mean, obviously, I can't tell you that. If you put a gun to my head, though, and ask me who I think they're going to take, I'm thinking wide receiver, man, because I think wide receiver. I think they trade up for a wide receiver. That's my honest opinion right now. We'll see who. Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, those are the types of guys I think you could see. Zay Flowers. But I don't know. Mark Casey says, I haven't had a chance to watch so far. Can you recap what's happened at this point? Sure thing, man. Bryce Young went first overall to the Carolina Panthers. CJ Stroud, second overall to the Texans. Then the Texans traded with the Arizona Cardinals to get back at the 3rd pick, and they took Will Anderson. So Texans ended up with both Will Anderson and CJ Stroud. The Indianapolis Colts surprisingly took Anthony Richardson 4th overall. And then the Seahawks, who I think wanted Richardson, they ended up going cornerback. They took Illinois cornerback Devin Witherspoon at 5th overall. And then just this past pick, the Arizona Cardinals traded back up to number 6, and they took tackle Paris Johnson. Now the Raiders are on the clock. Broderick Jones, you are a Kansas City Chief. Trey Young says, hey, look, man, I would be happy with it. Broderick Jones, I think, of the realistic tackle targets for the Chiefs, Darnell Wright, Broderick Jones, those guys, I would be ecstatic with Broderick Jones, dude. He was a beast at Georgia. He's the athletic tackle that the Chiefs need on the other side. I'd also be really happy with Darnell Wright as well. Also, Trae Young, as you know, I'm a Celtics fan, man. I think you know that I'm a Celtics fan. I'm switching between the draft and the Celtics game, and I'm pissed because we should have closed the series out already. Raiders are in a prime position, though, man, because both Jalen Carter and Tyree Wilson are still on the board. Both of those guys, basically this entire pre-draft process, at least the last couple months of like mock drafts and stuff, neither of those guys were ever available beyond this 5th overall pick. Like both of those guys were consensus top 5 picks, and they're both still available. The Raiders would probably be smart to end up with one of them. And I mean, I give them a hell of a pass rush too. Yeah, I have no idea how we haven't gotten swept. Jason Tatum stinks. Dude, I'm so frustrated with Tatum because he constantly does this. And like I've been trying to tell Celtics fans for the longest time, dude is so unserious. He just like he stinks it up in big playoff games all the time, like way more than a superstar should. Like you see like Trae Young, he's got 18 points in the first quarter. Why can't Tatum have that type of game? Tatum never has that type of game anymore. I swear to God. When it's a big playoff game, dude just craps his pants. That's the best I can put it. And it looks like the Raiders are taking Texas Tech defensive end Tyree Wilson. That's a good pick for them, man. That is a good pick. But you know what? The further down we get, and Jalen Carter is still on the board, one, it basically confirms that teams were worried about the off-field stuff. And two, if the Chiefs have a really good grade on him and they don't care and they've done their homework on the off-field stuff, I would not rule out the Chiefs moving up a ton to get a guy like Jalen Carter because that's a guy that has the potential to be as good, if not better, than Chris Jones. So, legitimately. I'm just surprised he's still on the board, but Tyree Wilson, he's a good pick for Vegas. It's a smart pick with him still being there. Lions have a treasure chest of picks because of the trade that they just did to give Arizona their pick. They got pick number 12, pick number 18, 34, 48, and 55. And get some quality players, a lot of them. They weren't lying when they said Jalen Carter could potentially drop out of the top 10 because we're getting close to that range here. Celtics are up 39-36. Honestly, the biggest thing I've been disappointed about with the Celtics, too, is their defense has just been lazy as hell against the Hawks. Like, the Celtics are one of the best defensive teams all year long, and it's just like they relax and take nights off and, like, just don't play defense, and it's super frustrating. If Tyree Wilson can be as good as a lot of people think, which, look, the frame, the power, the athleticism, it's all there, but he's still got a lot of developing to do. I understand why people thought he was the best edge prospect in this class. I don't expect him to walk in day one and like lead the Raiders in sacks or anything, but if he can put it together, him and Max Crosby are going to be a deadly pass rush duo on the bookends. No doubt about that. Marlon is quoting my tweets that I'm making. I'm live tweeting the Celtics game and the draft while also doing a live stream. Trey Young says, what's your opinion on the Brown versus Tatum debate? I've been back and forth on this because it definitely feels like Tatum has the potential to be better. He should be better. He has that talent, but Jalen just shows up more, dude. Like, I'm sorry. That's just what it is. Jalen's been the guy that's carried this team so far against the Hawks, even with the injured hand that he had that huge cut on. He's just showed up more. He just has. Like, I don't know how else to put it, at least when it's mattered. And Jaylen Brown is a much, much better finisher than Jason Tatum. Every time I watch the Celtics, I swear Tatum is missing layups. Jaylen Brown is one of the best finishers in the league. Like, dude just makes all kinds of circus shots inside the paint. His mid-range game is insane. Tatum seems to have abandoned the mid-range game. The dude either chucks up threes or tries to drive to the basket. Did the Falcons take Bijan Robinson at 8th overall? Yep, they did it. They took Bijan Robinson at number 8. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, they took a running back in the top 10. But you know what? Bijan Robinson, he was a top 10 player in this draft. He just was. Positional value hurts him. That's why a lot of people are going to view it as a bad pick. But that's going to be a dangerous offense. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, now Bijan Robinson. So, but yet again, Jalen Carter falls. He could go to Chicago. I could see Chicago taking a shot there with Jalen Carter. Especially with the shape their pass rush is in. And then Philly is right behind Chicago. Philly, would absolutely take Jalen Carter. They'd try to pair him back up with Jordan Davis, who they got there on the interior D-line in Philly. That would kind of be their future interior duo. So if it's not Chicago, I would think it's Philadelphia. But we'll see, man. Because with him falling this far, anything can happen. I'm not really shocked at Bijan going in the top 10. But, I mean, yeah, I get why people will make fun of it. At least Bijan is way better. He's a way better prospect than Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Bijan Robinson is the best running back prospect in quite a while. He is an electric runner. He has way more athleticism than Clyde. That was the other bad thing about the Clyde pick. Oh, Celtics, you're killing me. They're down 2. D-Hop will be a cheat today or tomorrow. Book it. It's not impossible. The Chiefs do have a lot of picks, which means, because like I was talking about it earlier and how technically they can't afford DeAndre Hopkins right now. The way that the money is, or where the Chiefs cap space stands. However, they have so many picks that if they threw in a couple extra day 3 picks, that they could get Arizona to take on most of his salary, and so that way they could actually fit DeAndre Hopkins' contract under their salary cap. But I don't know. We'll see. I feel like there might be some more desperate teams out there. We'll just have to see. The Eagles have traded up 1 spot. Okay. So the Eagles have jumped Chicago. I think this is where Jalen Carter comes off the board. It just seems they would make too much sense, man. Yeah, Philly jumping Chicago. This has to be where Jalen Carter comes off the board. The Bears have traded pick 9 to the Eagles for pick 10 and a 4th round pick. And with a couple of trade ups now, now that we've seen a couple of trade ups, you're kind of getting an idea of what the price is to trade up. The Eagles threw in a 4th round pick to move up just 1 spot. When you get later into the draft, or later into the 1st round, I should say, I think a 4th round pick and then maybe another late round pick is what it would take for the Chiefs to move up like 6 or 7 spots, kind of like they did last year for Trent McDuffie. Marlon, I see you tagging me in these tweets, dude. You got to stop. Yep, the Eagles are taking Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter. I mean, that's a hell of a pick. Howie Roseman loves those Georgia defenders. Nakobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. I mean, that's good drafting, man. I mean, I have questions about Nakobe Dean because he's a tweener. Jordan Davis, I think people got a little too excited about the athleticism because he did not do much as a rookie, although that Eagles defensive line rotation was pretty stacked. So, yeah. But Jalen Carter, I mean, man, Jalen Carter going all the way to pick number 9 and Philly getting him. Who let that happen, dude? Who let that happen? Philly, a team that was just in the Super Bowl, getting really a consensus top 5 player in this draft. I mean, that's just unfair, man. Who let Philly get Jalen Carter? That's a damn good pick for them. That's a pick that could absolutely propel them into being better than they were last year because Jalen Carter has like Chris Jones level potential. He's one of the better interior defenders to come out of the draft in a while. There's a reason he was getting mocked so high, and the reason that he fell is because of off-field issues. And don't get me wrong, there were serious off-field issues, guys. We're talking about a teammate being killed in the car crash, so there's a reason that he fell. And I don't believe we've heard the end of that story, where that's going. We'll see what happens with Jalen Carter, but if everything works out, it's a steal of a pick by the Eagles to get him at 9th overall. Well, I guess the Celtics are lucky to only be down 3 the way they're playing right now. Can't get offensive rebounds, can't shoot, can't defend. Only being down 3 is honestly a miracle. We were trolling Bucks fans for the Bucks being frauds, but we can't even get out of fucking round 1 with the Atlanta Hawks, man. And there's a reason that most Celtics fans did not want to play the Hawks. or the Heat, because we knew what the Heat were capable of last year. Like they never go away. They're that team that no matter how washed they seem, they just do not go away. So I was glad we got the Hawks matchup, but we can't even close that out against the Hawks, dude. Like, what is going on? And now my camera's out of focus. Hello. There we go. Now it's in focus. Yeah, you knew Philadelphia was getting Jalen Carter, dude. They're so happy about that, and they should be. I really need the Celtics to win tonight because I don't need this additional stress, dude. I don't need this additional stress of them knowing that they have to play a game 7 against the Hawks in a couple of days. Like, I just please be done with the series so I can like stop worrying about it. For the love of God, I need it to end. John Collins and DeAndre Hunter be pissing me off. Yeah, I can see why. Especially John Collins. I know a lot of Hawks fans don't like him. They've been trying to trade him for years. What is up, Noah? Glad to see you in here. Well, with Chicago on the clock, it's time to look at the Celtics game. They're on commercial break right now. TV timeout. Never mind. We'll switch back to the draft for a minute. Not over the Battlehawks missing the playoffs. Yeah, I know, man. I know. They just played bad down the stretch, man. I know people complain about the rules, but Seattle was playing by the same rules and they made the playoffs. So can you really be that upset? Bears took a tackle. Who'd they take? Which one? I think I can find out. The Bears are taking Darnell Wright at number 10. Wow. I did not see Darnell Wright being taken that high. Damn, I like Darnell Wright too. I was hoping maybe that he could be an option for the Chiefs. Darnell Wright at 10th overall. A true right tackle and an immediate plug and play protection for Justin Fields. That's from Ari of My Sports Update. Well, at least Broderick Jones is still available. He could be available by the time the Chiefs pick. We'll see. Or they can move up for him. Man, I cannot get over how well this played out for Philly getting Jalen Carter. Well, Celtics are only down 2. Jaylen Brown just hit a 3. It's 58-60. I'm watching the Celtics game right now. 3:26 left in the half. I can't believe I have to stress out about this tonight, dude. I thought we would just close this out, go on a run, and this whole thing would be over, and I could stop being worried about it. There's no reason this should be a series, dude. Do you guys think Darnell Wright was a reach at 10th overall? Trae Young just took a freaking 35-footer, and he missed it, and then Tatum went back and cut the lead to 2. Honestly, I figured Trae Young, you like Trae Young, that's why you named your account after him, but I feel like it's got to be frustrating watching him just chuck up some of these 40-footers sometimes, dude. DeAndre Hunter just missed a 3. Celtics get the rebound. You get my commentary on the Celtics game right now. Jaylen Brown a 3. Oh, he nails it. Celtics take a 1-point lead. Let's go. Man, I am loving this. As soon as I turn it on, they start playing well. I don't know what it is. I've turned into a basketball channel at this point, I guess. DeJounte Murray misses the shot. Tatum the rebound. Tatum driving in again. Misses it. Rebound. Back to Brown for 3. Jaylen Brown, another 3-pointer. 66-62 Boston, and it's a 13-2 run in the last 2.5 minutes. Jaylen Brown is on fire, dude. This is what I was talking about, Trey. When you asked me what I thought about the Tatum versus Brown debate, Brown freaking shows up. Tatum doesn't. Because that 3-pointer came off a Tatum miss. Give me Jaylen Brown all day, dude. Silence from Trae Young right now. He doesn't even want to speak. His Atlanta Hawks are so bad right now. Back to the draft, though. A quick note on that. We're 10 picks through, basically, and not a single wide receiver has been taken off the board. Not even JSN. So that's a good thing for the Chiefs if they want to get a wide receiver. I know a lot of people don't feel great about this wide receiver class, at least the top of it. A lot of people have said that this is not a good wide receiver class as far as like the top guys. Most of them don't have a first-round grade, but of course the quality then drops off the later you get into the draft. So if you really want to grab a guy that you think could contribute, which the Chiefs need one badly, you got to do it early. Tatum's driving. That's good to see. I'll take a lead going into halftime. Man, John Collins had a 3. I swear, we've been terrible at guarding the 3-point line, dude. This has really turned into a Celtics show. We've made John Collins look like Steph Curry this series. It's pissing me off, dude. And it's because we just don't want to defend the 3. Because these 3-pointers that the Hawks are getting, they're wide open. This really has turned into a Celtics show. But it's okay. I'm switching back to the draft now. Fogo on the draft. I'm focused. I definitely feel like Darnell Wright is a reach at number 10, although I liked him. Yeah, JSN is gonna go sometime here and probably in the next few picks. But it's good that no one's like reached for a wide receiver and we haven't gotten a run on wide receivers yet. I don't think JSN was ever going to the Chiefs or anything, but I have a pretty good feeling he's going to be the first receiver off the board. And the fact that he hasn't come off the board yet, that means things are going good on the wide receiver front. All right, Titans pick is in. The Titans are taking Northwestern guard Peter Skoronski at number 11. So still not a wide receiver. They're going with the guard, Peter Skoronski. Well, he's a tackle. He was a tackle at Northwestern. I think he's going to be a guard in the league just because of his size. So Titans go guard, which, hey, it's a safe pick. Unless they want to try to play him at tackle, which they can do. But either way, I think it was a safe pick. Skoronski was probably a top 10 to 15 talent in this draft. Trey, you're just going to say that JSN is going to the team that every time the next pick. He's now he's a Lion. You said he was a Titan. He's going to be a Lion. And then if the Lions don't get him, I guess he'll go to the next team. Yeah, if JSN does fall far enough, yeah, the Chiefs should trade up. I agree. Celtics are just pissing me off. They're making it really hard to enjoy the draft right now because series should be over. They started the game on a 14-2 run, and now they're up 1 at halftime. And they really should be up by a lot more. And they're letting John Collins turn into Steph Curry. It's pissing me off, and it's keeping me from enjoying the draft. And the draft is already stressful enough because I got to cover it and see who the Chiefs pick. Wyatt, what's up, man? What's good? Nice to see you in here. I don't have too many people in here right now, which I didn't expect. I mean, I know the other Chiefs shows are doing their thing tonight, but hey, if y'all got any questions or just want to talk, hey, leave some comments and questions down below. We'll be more than happy to answer them because we're gonna have a lot of dead period time, I guess, for lack of a better term, between now and whenever the Chiefs pick. Gotta wonder when the run on wide receivers is going to start because it's going to come at some point. I mean, although, we have heard that the league doesn't view this wide receiver class nearly as good as even the people that do mock drafts and stuff. So. Who do you really want KC to get? Why? I mean, given the way the board has fallen, I'd love Broderick Jones, the tackle from Georgia. JSN, if he falls far enough. I'd be happy with most of the receivers. Some people are like, oh, I don't want Quentin Johnston, or oh, I don't want Jalen Hyatt. I wouldn't want him out of like the Zay Flowers types and Quentin Johnston and Jordan Addison, but like I'm not going to lose sleep over Jalen Hyatt. I think he's a better prospect than people give him credit for. I think he's a little more polished than people give him credit for. We're talking about a guy that won the Biletnikoff Award for the best wide receiver in the nation last season in college. I'd be happy with the receiver, most any of them. Jordan Addison, JSN, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers. But yeah, I mean, sorry, edges. As far as edges go, I don't know, man. Like Miles Murphy, I could see the Chiefs maybe grabbing him, depending on where he lands in the first round. Maybe trading up. I'd be happy with him. A lot of Chiefs fans like Will McDonald. I mean, I love Will McDonald's pass rushing ability, but I don't love his lack of run defense. Like his run defense is honestly a 0. You'd be getting a guy that basically can only play on 3rd and long as a rookie. And I don't think that's worth the 31st overall pick. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of kind of what I'm looking for with the Chiefs' next pick. Trey Young says, if the Chiefs trade out of the first round after making me staying up until 11, I'm going to burn Arrowhead. I don't think you'll have to worry about that, man. Brett Veach is not a GM that trades back. He just hasn't traded back. He's only done it like once ever, and his first time doing it was like last year. He finally traded back, I'm pretty sure. I think it's much more likely he moves up. Nolan Smith, yes. I blanked on him too. Nolan Smith, I'd love Nolan Smith, man. I'd love Nolan Smith. I don't know if he'll make it to 31, and honestly, I think the Chiefs would have to trade up pretty far to get him. That's a guy that I could see going in the next few picks, but we'll see. I love Nolan Smith and what he brings to the table, though. Oh, wow. The Lions went with Jahmyr Gibbs, a running back. Wow. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12th overall. Okay, now that might be a bad pick. Like Bijan Robinson, he was a top 10 talent in this draft. I know the positional value wasn't good. I kind of expected that to happen though, but Jahmyr Gibbs at 12th overall. Wow. But I mean, you see they're comping him to Jamal Charles on the broadcast right now. That's who I thought of when I watched him, and his ability as a receiving back is insane. I mean, he averaged 11.8 yards per catch over his college career as a receiver. He was basically Bama's best receiver this past season. He bailed out Bryce Young a ton. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I love him. I wouldn't have been upset with him at 31. I wouldn't have lost sleep with him at 31 if he was there. But obviously, going at pick 12, it's much too rich for me for a running back, man. Especially when you have Pacheco. It'd be different if you had a legit need at running back, but you have Pacheco, so you can live without Jahmyr Gibbs. You say JSN is a Packer now. Okay. We'll see, man. I actually do think the Packers are a JSN team, so. Somebody take Keon White already, so I don't have to worry about Brett Veach and the Chiefs taking Keon White, because my God, if they do that. I mean, I also believe Jahmyr Gibbs is a guy that a lot of teams had a first-round grade on, so. I mean, it's not surprising he went in the first, but man, 12th overall for Jahmyr Gibbs, a running back. My goodness. But he turns a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs. He can turn almost any carry into a gain. He makes guys miss. He can turn upfield in the receiving game, make guys miss too. I love the way he plays. That's why I wouldn't have been totally upset with him at 31. He just does so many things well. I think he's going to be a star. I think there's a chance he's better than Bijan Robinson too. The Lions already have DeAndre Swift too, and Jamal Williams. Or do they still have Jamal Williams? I'm pretty sure they do, but they also have DeAndre Swift, like Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, maybe they thought he was the best player available according to their board, but man, 12th overall. Whew. Trey. What does DeJounte Murray even do? Lions are doing some crazy stuff, but I mean, they still have a lot of picks as well, so they can address their needs later. But I mean, at least with the Lions taking Jahmyr Gibbs, you can stop being concerned with the temptation of the Chiefs to move up or take Jahmyr Gibbs if you were afraid of that. They can't do that anymore. That's not an option. Wyatt, thank you. Jamal Williams went to the Saints. I thought he went somewhere else. So that makes a little bit more sense in that regard. I was pretty sure he went somewhere else. But even then, it's not like Jamal Williams going somewhere else as a free agent justifies taking Jahmyr Gibbs 12th overall. And the Packers are taking Iowa defensive end Lucas Van Ness with the 13th overall pick. The Packers go Lucas Van Ness, wide receiver, has still not come off the board. JSN, let me guess, Trey. He is going to be a New England Patriot. I could actually see the New England Patriots taking JSN, though. Most Patriots fans that because I'm a Boston guy. Outside of Kansas City, I'm a Bruins fan. I'm a Celtics fan. I am a Red Sox fan. And so the Patriots fans that I've talked to, they do really want a wide receiver. And JSN is a guy that commonly gets brought up when talking about
the Patriots and their draft. So you might finally be right, Trey. He might be going to the Patriots here. I would think, though, even if it's not, I figured it's going to be JSN if they take a receiver, but I think there's a pretty good shot that this is where the first receiver comes off the board. My worst nightmare is going to be the Celtics game going down to the wire in the fourth quarter and the Chiefs are on the clock. And I'm going to have to decide which one to watch, man. So I really need either the Chiefs to trade up and get their pick done for the night, or I'm going to need the Celtics to like go up by 20 and just like leave no doubt and the game is over. And we can just speed run through the rest of it. Because I cannot have that happening. The thing about Van Ness, though, is obviously he's an edge. And I had RGR Football, Ryan, on my channel last week, and he said that Lucas Van Ness might be better suited as a D tackle. And even the highlights they're playing right now on the broadcast, they are showing him playing defensive tackle, playing interior, because he moves a little bit better for an interior player than he does at edge. And I mean, he has the moves, he's got the weight to play on the inside. So, I mean, they're showing like exclusively highlights of him playing from the interior. So I don't think the Chiefs probably would have done the same thing had they drafted him. I don't think they really would have played him mainly at edge. This is an interior defensive tackle selection, not an edge selection, even though he is listed as an edge. Wyatt says, I feel you. I'm kind of like that Chiefs fan because my dad is from Kansas. The other half, I'm a Georgia fan. Yeah, no, I mean, I understand. Like most Chiefs fans, they got teams all over the place. Like obviously Trey's a Chiefs fan. He's a Hawks fan. He's in here. But, you know, I had family that was up in Boston for a little bit. I got a lot of hand-me-down Celtics clothes and like just other Boston clothes when I was a kid. My cousin, who is a really big Celtics fan, I got a hand-me-down Kevin Garnett jersey from him when I was a kid. Just kind of liked them ever since, and just gravitated towards the other Boston teams. But when it came to football, I like the Chiefs, man. You don't think Bill will select a player like JSN? I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, they traded their pick to Pittsburgh, actually. So, yeah, no, you're right. The Patriots have traded their draft pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now selecting at 14th overall. And also, I think it's worth noting that the Steelers probably don't need a receiver. They have George Pickens, who they took last year fairly early. They have Deontay Johnson, Calvin Austin. They got guys. Unless they're just like so in love with BPA here and they're like, oh, someone's falling that we really like. I don't think this is going to be a receiver. Patriots traded number 14 with the Steelers. Number 17 and a fourth to New England. So again, you're seeing the market kind of being set for trading up. It's going to be a fourth round pick plus your first round pick swap. That's basically what it's going to cost if the Chiefs want to move up. Come on, tell me, who are the Steelers getting here? This wide receiver board has fallen really well, guys. I'm getting kind of excited. I think the Chiefs and Nolan Smith too. Like we're getting within striking distance for the Chiefs here to move up. All right. The Steelers get protection for Kenny Pickett. They're selecting Georgia OT, Broderick Jones. That's a good pick for the Steelers. Broderick Jones. If the Chiefs were going to go tackle in the first round, he was one of the guys that I was hoping for. But he comes off the board of the Steelers as a good pick. I really like Broderick Jones. He was fantastic at Georgia. He's got the functional athleticism to play tackle spot on either side, really. He's got good size. I mean, you know how Georgia goes, the athletes that they breed, the players that they breed. They always produce good quality NFL players. So yeah, that's a good pick for the Steelers there. Wyatt says, watch Bill pick a guy we never heard of. Yeah, he traded back. Kind of a Patriots move. Trading back to get more assets and not picking anybody, and then picking someone you've never heard of at the end of the first round. It's cheap to move up right now, though, if the Chiefs want to do it. Nolan Smith, JSN, one of you will be a Chief, I hope. Gonna check on the Celtics real quick. And DeAndre Hunter hit a 3 as soon as I turned it on. And Jaylen Brown hits one right back. Jaylen Brown has been fantastic tonight. Celtics take a 1-point lead. I would say, though, it's safe to say, with the way the tackle board is falling and Darnell Wright going 10th overall, Chiefs are not going offensive tackle in round 1, which makes wide receiver all the more real, all the more realistic. This is just falling way too perfectly for the Chiefs to not go wide receiver. There's a run on tackles right now. I mean, I don't have a first-round grade on a ton of edges. The Chiefs really need a wide receiver. I'd say go ahead and go get your wide receiver of the future. Do it tonight. Get a JSN, get a Jordan Addison, or I'd be happy with Nolan Smith if you're not going to go wide receiver. JSN, QJ, Addison, or Zay is definitely going to be a Chief tonight. Yeah, I tend to agree. I think that's a pretty safe assumption, pretty safe guess. Eric, what's up, bro? Eric, if you didn't know, so like Trey Young is in here. I know the draft is going on, but like we're also switching between the draft and the Celtics game. And I'm stressed the hell out because I cannot do both, dude. I cannot watch the Celtics and do this draft thing. The Celtics are pissing me off. We're about to go to a game 7 with the Atlanta Hawks, dude. Like I can already see it coming. Trey Young says, I really don't like the edge class this year. I tend to agree, man. Like I think there's a big drop off too. Like there's a lot of guys, like I like FAU from Kansas State. I like Will McDonald. I like BJ Ojulari. I'm just not sure any of them are first rounders. And I don't know if they'll be available by the next or by the Chiefs' second round pick. Future Raptors in the chat. Yeah. Speaking of future Raptors, how about Becky Hammon for head coach, man? How do you feel about that? Dalton Kincaid, Christian Gonzalez, Will Levis, Nolan Smith, Jordan Addison, Jackson Smith and Najigba, Michael Mayer, Miles Murphy, Zay Flowers, Joey Porter. A lot of good players, man. A lot of good players still available, and we're about halfway through the first round. And I definitely think you could see the Chiefs trade up here pretty soon. Curious to see what the Jets do. Becky would have been cool to tank this year, but we don't have our pick next year. I'll pass. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Y'all had the chance to hire Ime Udoka, but I would have hated that. I'm glad he at least went out west. Man, if the league messes up and lets JSN go to the Chiefs, what do the Jets do? Their pick hasn't been leaked yet. The pick is not in, at least not on my broadcast. What did the Jets do? The Jets were a tackle team, but I don't know if they feel great about the tackle board right now. Jets might be trying to trade out of this pick. Jets are also a potential wide receiver team. I know they really wanted OBJ and they didn't get him. They don't feel like their wide receiver room is all the way set. $55 seconds left. There's still nothing from the Jets, man. No action. I think they might be trying to trade out of this. Okay, pick is in. Pick was in right after I said that. They were definitely on the phones, though. They showed them on the broadcast. They were on the phones. They were working them. I'm really curious to see where the Jets go here. This could be a big turning point for the rest of the first round. Do they take the first receiver of the night? We'll see. They could start a run on receivers here. It makes sense to get a weapon for Aaron Rodgers. Another one. Maybe Nolan Smith. I see the Veach Clown profile pictures are already back. We haven't even done anything yet. The ones that I made, we haven't done anything yet, and I already see them out, man. Oh, wow. The Jets are taking Will McDonald at 15th overall. Will McDonald at 15th overall? Holy cow. Not even Nolan Smith. Will McDonald at 15th. Holy crap. That's the guy that was mocked to the Chiefs a ton at the end of the first round. And I did not see him as a first rounder because he cannot defend the run. Still no wide receivers off the board, man. Come on, go up and get one, Veach. Or Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith or a wide receiver. Anything else? Don't draft Keon White. I'd be upset if they drafted Keon White. Will McDonald at 15th. I'm puzzled by some of these picks, dude. Devon Witherspoon at 5th to Seattle. Will Richardson, 4th overall. Jahmyr Gibbs, 12th overall. Some of these picks, like this has been a very entertaining, very surprising first round. You know, usually the past few years, it's been the consensus guys going where most people thought they would, you know, give or take a few picks, but there's been a lot of surprises tonight. Go get JSN. Come on. If the league lets the Chiefs get JSN, it's over. Come on, Veach. This is taking too long to announce these picks. We already know what the pick is. We've seen it. Come on, move on. Let's go. I don't know if Jets fans are too happy about reaching for Will McDonald like that. He's like a tweener that has the size of a outside, you know, like an off-ball linebacker, but I know the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure they had a top 30 visit with Will McDonald, and I like his ability as a pure pass rusher. He brings you nothing against the run. He'd be by far the lightest edge that Spags has ever brought in. He just didn't seem like a Chiefs guy to begin with. I do like some of his traits. I couldn't fathom spending a first round pick on a guy that can basically only play on 3rd and long as a rookie. Man. Still no wide receivers off the board. Tells you what the league thinks about this year's wide receiver. Sorry, guys. I was muted on accident for a second. But I was going to say still no receivers off the board, which one tells you what the league thinks of this wide receiver class, but two just makes it easier for the Chiefs to grab a guy that they really like. And we already have the Commanders pick. They're going Mississippi State cornerback Emmanuel Forbes at 16th overall. So even this next pick for Washington is not a receiver. It's going to be a cornerback. Still no wide receivers off the board going to pick number 17, which will be New England. That's maybe where we could see the first wide receiver come off, but I don't know. We'll see. But this is prime trade-up range, guys. As we get into kind of their early 20s range, late teens, early 20s, that's where you can see the Chiefs trade up. So we're getting close. We're getting real close.
Go get JSN, man. Do it. Just do it. Royals lost again, just in case any of you wanted to know. 7-1, they lost. So we already know Washington's going Forbes at 16. I'm surprised Christian Gonzalez hasn't come off the board yet if these teams are going to go cornerback. Christian Gonzalez is, I mean, hell, I didn't think he'd be available by this point. The Royals brought me pain for so many years, but I'm used to it. Yeah, at a certain point, you just like get over it. Like you don't have expectations for them anymore, and yet they won a new stadium. Well, since I already know who Washington's getting, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the Celtics game real quick to see how they're doing. I'll tell you what, guys, real quick, I'm going to hop off my stream. I'm actually going to use the bathroom, and then I'll be right back. So give me just a minute. Well, that was quick. I was gone for 2 minutes, and the Patriots pick is already in. They're taking Oregon cornerback Christian Gonzalez, who I was just talking about. I was surprised that he didn't come off the board yet. Also, it's not surprising that Belichick went cornerback at all. Of course, Belichick went cornerback. The Patriots fans that I follow, they are absolutely livid that they didn't take a receiver. Still no receivers taken off the board, guys. And we're going to Detroit's next pick. They don't need a receiver. So could this be a Chiefs trade-up spot? Maybe. We'll see. We're getting to that range. Will Levis still is on the board too, which, I mean, a lot of people projected him going pretty high in this draft. Maybe a team could trade up for him as well. I don't know. But he's still on the board. It's just important to note. Because the more of these guys that aren't receivers that get selected, the better chance the Chiefs have to pick whoever they want. Also, super surprised Nolan Smith's not off the board. Like, dude is a beast. I don't care if he's a little bit smaller first bags guy. Joe Cullen seems to like him. Joe Cullen's vision matters when it comes to this defensive line. Nolan Smith plays the run really well, even for his size. He's not afraid to hit. He's always looking to make contact. He's the speed rusher that the Chiefs need. So, but yeah, Patriots trading back for a cornerback is just on brand. Start calling now? Yeah. Bill doing Bill things. Wyatt, you called it, man. You said he would make a Bill-like pick. He definitely did. But, I mean, Christian Gonzalez is a good player. Like, I thought he should have went a lot earlier than he did. Him going before Witherspoon was certainly a choice. I'm feeling receiver. I think you can pretty much rule out tackle in the first round for the Chiefs at this point. Tackle board just the good tackles got scooped up quickly. Maybe aim for like Jalen Duncan in round 2 or something like that. No tight ends taken yet either, which is interesting. The Celtics game got bumped off my provider for some reason, so now I can't even watch what the Celtics are doing, which might not be a bad thing. Lions pick is in. Let's see. The Lions are taking Iowa linebacker Jack Campbell. A linebacker comes off the board at 18th overall. Still no wide receivers, guys. Still no wide receivers off the board. Come on, Chiefs. JSN. Say it with me, guys. JSN. 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 Do it. Or Nolan Smith. I'd be happy with either. Taking Iowa State linebacker Jack Campbell here at 18th overall is a very Dan Campbell move. Yeah, there you go. See here. There you go, Trey. JSN. JSN. Let's do it. Why? JSN. I mean, this board cannot have fallen much better for the Chiefs, honestly, if they want to get edge or wide receiver. This draft is absolutely nuts. Wide receiver board falling great. They could even get Zay Flowers if they wanted. Trade with Tampa. I have a feeling Tampa might take Nolan Smith. Yeah, I mean, no, you're not wrong about that. They could take Nolan Smith, definitely. If it's not, or if Nolan Smith isn't available for the Chiefs by the time they select or trade up, then I don't see. I see them going wide receiver. Seattle would likely want to take, or likely want to trade back with the Chiefs. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Putting OT against all these self-righteous Raptors fans who want Hammond. Going back to you, Trey. Honestly, with Tyler Lockett getting older, they might want to go receiver. So I wouldn't totally rule that out. I need this to move quicker, man. I need the Chiefs pick to come. And then if the Chiefs pick comes, I might just hop off the live stream and go watch the Celtics because, like, I'm trying to watch them at the same time as this is going on, and then it's just stressing me out. Pick is in for Tampa. Let's see. Anybody got the Tampa Bay pick? Tampa could really screw some things up here for Kansas City. Let's see what they do. Could Tampa be a Will Levis team? Who did they pick? How come it's not been revealed yet? I can't find it on my timeline. What if the Chargers get JSN, Trey Young? Good question. I think the Chargers are a team to watch for wide receiver too. Maybe even Zay Flowers. I think if the Chiefs really want a receiver, if they want their receiver, they might have to jump Los Angeles and then take you up on your idea of trading with Seattle. The Bucs are selecting Pitt defensive tackle Kalijah. Okay, good. Defensive tackle off the board. Nice. This is shaping up well for the Chiefs. They might not even have to trade up at this point. Nah, they probably will have to trade up if they want someone they really like, because there's still a lot of picks until we get to them. But yeah, no, this board really could not be falling any better for Kansas City. Kalijah to Tampa Bay. Please, Veach, please, if we get him, it's over. Ian Rappaport just tweeted at number 19, the Bucs with a shocker. It's Pitt DT. Kalijah is the next Aaron Donald. Ian, I understand they both went to Pitt, but comparing anyone in this era to Aaron Donald, come on, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's totally unfair to Kalijah. He's not Aaron Donald. I feel like the Chargers would definitely end up with JSN or Zay Flowers. I know I said a lot of teams could go wide receiver here over the last half an hour or so. I think the Chargers would definitely go wide receiver. Especially with JSN on the board. If these teams are smart, I don't think anyone would have expected Smith and Najigba to still be available, and I think the Chargers could grab him if he's available. This would be a perfect position to trade up, considering Baltimore Chargers not passing on him. Yeah, I tend to agree. Nolan Smith, Brian Brezzi, Miles Murphy, Zay Flowers, JSN. This board is falling really well. Better than anyone could have asked. 19 picks and 0 wide receivers taken, 0 tight ends taken, but 2 running backs are off the board. Cool. Cool. I got to say, guys, I wish I was able to get a guest on with me tonight, just so there would be someone talking at all times. I tried to get Michael Darcy on. He's at the draft, though. He might get on for days 2 and 3. Most of my friends are at the draft. Who else was I considering bringing on? I just mostly everyone was either doing their own thing or they were actually going to the draft. Otherwise, I'd have a guest on with me tonight. So not just me, it's solo. But I'm looking to get Michael Darcy on for the next couple of days, if we can swing that. But I appreciate y'all sticking with me tonight and watching the draft with me. Seahawks on the clock. We'll see what they do here. Could they take a quarterback? Seems like they wanted Anthony Richardson. Quandre Diggs just tweeted a Texas flag gif. Who could that be? JSN is from Texas. That would be a bummer if Seattle went with JSN here. I told you with Tyler Lockett getting older, I could see them doing that. He might be the best player available. Seahawks might be the heartbreakers here, guys. Taking a long time. Maybe they're I'm sure every team calls for basically every pick just to see what's out there. But Seahawks might be the heartbreaker team here. Come on, Seattle. Make the pick. Every single wide receiver is available right now. And Nolan Smith. But I think I would go JSN. Ohio State just puts out quality wide receivers, man. They put out guys that know how to get open. It's no different with JSN. I mean, you look at Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, all those guys. They just know how to get open. Brian Hartline, wide receivers coach at Ohio State, he does a fantastic job with all those guys. It's amazing what he's been able to do there and put out so many of these really good Ohio State wide receivers. Come on, Seahawks. What are you doing here? What are you doing? Pick is in. Let's see. Did Seattle do it? Trying to find out what the Seahawks did here. Trying to find out what the pick is here, guys. Seattle has kept this close to the vest. Damn it! Jackson Smith-Njigba to the Seattle Seahawks. He joins DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett in Seattle. I saw it coming, guys. I saw it coming. I told you. That's a smart pick with Tyler Lockett getting older. JSN will easily replace him. I knew it. The Seahawks were the heartbreakers, guys. They took JSN. It's a damn good pick. Damn it. He was the one guy I was hoping for, man. Well, at least Jordan Addison is available because Jordan Addison is right behind Jackson Smith-Njigba when it comes to being a technician, wide receiver, guy that knows how to play the wide receiver position. There's still Zay Flowers too. The only problem now is with the first receiver now off the board, you can see a run of receivers. Los Angeles is up next to pick. They probably want to go receiver really bad. They're probably going to take a receiver, and they're probably not going to trade with Kansas City because Kansas City, if they trade up here, would also probably be trying to get a wide receiver. So we'll see what happens, man. LAC is going to determine a lot right now. That sucks. JSN to Seattle. I really wanted that for KC, man. Yeah, we'll see how the board falls for the Chiefs here, man. With JSN now off the board, like that was my top guy. But if they could get Jordan Addison or Zay Flowers, I would still be really happy. But as you pointed out, Trey, I mean, LAC and Baltimore, both teams that are probably looking at wide receiver pretty heavily as well. Quentin Johnson, too, who I haven't mentioned in a while. Like, I would be happy with him, too. Chiefs might feel comfortable with staying where they're at, though. We'll see. But at least get to keep all their picks that way. Only other issue is that the Chiefs have more draft picks than spots on the team, really. They're not going to be able to keep 10 rookies. And also, DeAndre Hopkins' trade isn't totally off the board yet. Maybe trading some day 2 picks. So, still a lot at play here, guys. Still a lot of factors, moving parts right now. Sucks seeing him go there, though. It sucks that this wide receiver run is probably about to come where a bunch of teams aren't going to be willing to trade with Kansas City because they're also going wide receiver. The Celtics are pissing me off because they're down by 3 and just can't make a shot or play defense. I really need this night to speed up. Seattle's going to have one hell of a wide receiver core next year. Too bad their quarterback is Geno Smith. Would be nice if we could get to the next pick already. The only chance they have of trading up is with the Vikings, considering the Bengals and Bills are next also. Yeah. Pick is in for the Chargers already. Oh, the Chargers are going with TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnston. 21st overall, adding another weapon for Justin Herbert. Another wide receiver off the board. This was expected. There's going to be a run on wide receivers here with these next few picks probably. And the Chargers go with Quentin Johnston. That's actually surprising. I thought the Chargers would see Zay Flowers as more of a fit for them. But Quentin Johnston goes to the Chargers instead. So, hey, look, that's interesting because Quentin Johnston, I like him. I think I like Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers a little bit more, though. So it's not the worst. I mean, we knew Chargers were probably going to go wide receiver there. So that's not the worst case scenario as far as who they could have taken. People are sleeping on Jordan Addison. I'm just saying. If you can't get Jackson Smith and Najigba, which you can't now because he's off the board, Jordan Addison is the next closest thing. I'm seeing the Chargers are sticking with their size theme at wide receiver, though. Quentin Johnston, he's 6'2", 210 pounds. You got Mike Williams, who's a big body. Keenan Allen is also a bigger dude. That Chargers wide receiver core, they're staying stocked up on just big wide receivers. So assuming everybody is healthy, because we know Chargers wide receivers have had a problem with that, but assuming everybody is healthy, that's going to be a handful to deal with. The Chargers got a good one in Quentin Johnston, not going to lie. He's still got some work to do. I think he's kind of limited in his route tree, but he is an explosive guy. I've seen him take passes underneath and just turn them upfield for huge gains. He's a big play wide receiver for sure. You can call him that. 115 receptions for 2,100 yards and 14 touchdowns in 32 games at TCU. It's pretty good. That's going to be a big wide receiver core. It's going to be tough to cover, but I think the Chiefs will have the defensive backs to match up with them. So it's all good. It's a good pick for Los Angeles. And it's good for Kansas City because there's still plenty of good guys left for them to get. Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, or Nolan Smith. I want no one else. That's kind of where I'm at too, man. It's got to be one of those three. Ravens are on the clock. What are we thinking here, guys? Ravens are on the clock. Do they also go wide receiver? You just knew the Chargers were going with wide receiver, though, so it's really not a surprise. Celtics up 3 with 3 minutes left in the playoff game against the Hawks. So that's giving me anxiety right now, along with the draft. Thanks, Boston. Appreciate you. I'm getting nervous, man. Jason Tatum. Thank you, Jason Tatum. He is taking over right now. Trey, I have never a doubt, Trey. Never a doubt that Jason Tatum would show up in this game. He just hit a big 3, and the Celtics are up 6 with 2.5 minutes to go. Oh, man. Please don't blow it. Please don't blow it. Please. Oh, man, I'm begging the Celtics, man. Do not blow this. This is so stressful. I've turned this into a Celtics show, which I'm sorry, guys. And I got to watch that because I love my Celtics and it's the playoffs. And I got to pay attention to the draft. And I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. I'm not, dude. I swear to God. I have it. I'm reading the updates on my phone. And now they just got more points. It's 121-113. Oh, my goodness, Trey. They're up 7. They are up 7. Or I'm sorry, they're up 8. They're up 8 with 1:55 to go. Now, okay. Now the Hawks just hit something. So they're up 5 now. Come on, Celtics. Please close this out. I'm begging you. Or no, I'm sorry. They added the points to the wrong end on my Google score. So the Celtics are still up pretty big right now. And I think Marcus Smart just did something really good. All right, the Ravens are selecting Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers at number 22 overall. Damn it. Dan, that's a good pick for the Baltimore Ravens. You knew they were also going wide receiver. Shit. OBJ. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers. That's solid, man. I can at least stomach that a little bit better because the Celtics, I think, might be closing this out. 124-116 with 1:30 to go. I'm sorry, Trey. I'm sorry. You guys weren't going to do anything this postseason anyway, though, dude. Like, you're fine. You're good. You're about to blow it up this offseason anyway. You're fine. Just let the season end. You didn't want to go any further than this, man. Just let the Celtics move on. It's the easiest thing to do. Well, Jordan Addison it is, guys. It's time for the Chiefs to trade with the Vikings. Yes, I absolutely agree. That sucks seeing Zay Flowers come off the board, though, because he talked so highly of Kansas City. He was so pumped up, catching passes from Patrick Mahomes. He was really wanting to be a Chief. You could tell by the way he was talking. And now both him and Quentin Johnston, the two guys we know worked out with Mahomes, are off the board. But if you want a guy, like I said, if you want a guy that's like Jackson Smith and Najigba, Jordan Addison is the closest thing to him. And if you want a guy that can take the pressure off of Travis Kelce next year and be a legit number one wide receiver, contribute in year one as a rookie, get open, get on the field, Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison. Go watch the dude's tape. Look at him get open. He's so smooth with it. He's not an elite athlete either, but he just knows how to play the wide receiver position so well. Jason was a little bit better of a prospect than him because he had the quicker change of direction. He had a better three cone. He's a tiny bit more explosive, but Jordan Addison is right behind him. And if it's not him, well, hey, go get Nolan Smith, man. Wide receivers are getting snatched right now. Marcus Smart owns Trae Young, dude. I'm sorry. Marcus Smart owns Trae Young. He owns Trey Bum. Bring me all the Trey slander. Well, the Celtics won, and I'm happy about that. Now I can relax and watch the draft. The Celtics got this locked up. The series is over. They're moving on to take on the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, I'm saying Eastern Conference Finals because, let's be real, that's what the Eastern Conference Finals is. It should be. But now my focus is on the draft because the Celtics got this thing locked up. Let's go, man. The season is not over. All that Marcus Dumb owns is a fraudulent DPOY. It's not fraudulent, man. He deserved it. He was the best perimeter defender he was the best guard defender that year. And I love his versatility. He can guard anyone. He can guard centers. He can guard power forwards. He can guard point guard. Here I am talking basketball again. I'm sorry. Sucks seeing Zay Flowers off the board, man, because he was a very similar mover to like Tyreek Hill. He's obviously not Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying that. Please don't freak out. But change of direction, build, ability to kind of get the yards after the catch. He kind of reminded me of Tyreek Hill a little bit. He might have been the closest thing to him in this draft. And the Ravens all of a sudden got a really nice receiving core. Flowers, Beckham, Bateman, and Mark Andrews. Come on, Chiefs. I need you to do something. Don't tell me Jordan Addison is coming off the board to Minnesota. I will die inside. Vikings on the clock. They're putting the camera on Will Levis like the Vikings have a chance to take him here. Could they? They're talking about wide receiver still in the broadcast and maybe Vikings going receiver here. I really hope not. Jordan Addison's really the only like first round worthy wide receiver still up there. So I mean, if you don't get him, you're probably not getting a wide receiver in round 1, which would leave me kind of concerned. I mean, not that there isn't other good wide receivers in this draft. There absolutely is, but that's probably the most desperate position of need right now for Kansas City. And I don't think they're going tackle. I'd be happy if it was Nolan Smith. If they're not taking a wide receiver, I'd be thrilled if it was Nolan Smith. Is Nolan Smith coming off the board of the Vikings here? That would suck. Could the Chiefs shock everybody and go tight end in round 1 and grab Michael Mayer? Hawks can't even inbound the ball correctly, Trey. They couldn't even inbound the ball. That team is fraudulent. Pick us in for the Vikings. Are the Chiefs actually going to go Keon White and ruin my night? Damn it. The Vikings are taking Jordan Addison, wide receiver USC. So just like that, all the wide receivers are gone. Damn. I really wanted a wide receiver coming out of round 1, and we did not see the Chiefs trade up. At this point, it doesn't feel like they're trading up. Of course the Vikings took Jordan Addison, dude. Of course they did. Well, at least this makes D-Hop more realistic, right? DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs, maybe? So no Jordan Addison, no JSN, no Zay Flowers, no Quentin Johnston. Nada. Well, Nolan Smith, guys. We're on to Nolan Smith. We're on to our contingency plan. I mean, like, Trey, I was about to say what you're about to say. Like, what is Veach doing? Not trading up, but like, none of those teams are going to trade back with the Chiefs. They knew exactly what they wanted. So that put them in a really tough spot. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson together, dude, though. I mean, holy separation. Because that's what you're going to get with those two. You're going to get two guys that are just going to be getting open all day long. All day long. The wide receiver position is as exciting as it's ever been across the league. I mean, so many teams have a good wide receiver core, except the Chiefs, of course. But like, why would the Vikings do that? They really don't need another receiver. If anything, and no disrespect here, should have gotten a quarterback. Yeah, but they might just not have liked Will Levis. And honestly, with Adam Thielen now gone, there was a need for a wide receiver too in Minnesota, and also Jordan Addison. You could argue was one of the best players on the board. So you can't really hate a team taking best player available, unless it's just a position that makes absolutely no sense at all. Like if a quarterback is technically the best player available at 31, the Chiefs aren't taking a quarterback. But like Jordan Addison to the Vikings makes a fair amount of sense. Chiefs might have the worst room in the league. Yeah. Yeah, I know that's the thing that sucks about not coming out of time with the receiver. But DeAndre Hopkins, I mean, because if you think about it with D-Hop, the Ravens don't have a need anymore for a wide receiver. Most of these teams that had a need for wide receiver, you cannot consider them out on D-Hop, which makes him more of an option for the Chiefs, more realistic. The Bills might still be competing with them, but it all comes down to the money too, because Casey's going to have to find a way to make the money work and make DeAndre Hopkins actually fit under their cap, because they can't do that right now. The Chiefs only really have enough cap space to sign their draft class, and that's about it. So they have to maybe throw in some future draft picks, some later round draft picks to try and get the Cardinals to take on most of his salary, or, and this isn't, Chiefs fans aren't going to like this because you're going to have doubts about wide receiver coming out of the draft. You could wait until after the draft, maybe take a receiver in the mid rounds, and then you could wait for D-Hop to get cut, because if he doesn't get traded after the draft, he's probably getting cut because he doesn't want to be in Arizona. There's no reason to keep him. I mean, they'd probably just release him. Caesar says Hopkins is the only option. He's not the only option. There's like if Jalen Hyatt doesn't get taken tonight, like I would like Jalen Hyatt in round 2. People wouldn't like Jalen Hyatt in round 1. I'm fine with him in round 2. Some people don't like him. I'm perfectly fine with him. So it's not like it's over for the Chiefs adding a wide receiver for next year, guys. Josh Downs, Tayshaun Boutte, Jonathan Mingo, there's still guys out there they could get. They're fine. They're chilling right now. I really wanted one of the top wide receivers, and it seems like the board fell perfect, and they could have traded up, but none of those teams were going to be trading with the Chiefs because they were also going wide receiver. I think the most shocking development of the night would be the Chiefs not trading up, because we're getting to the point where it's like, if you haven't traded up by now, you might not be trading up. I could be wrong. I mean, we still got 7 more picks. But I mean, unless you just absolutely got to have a guy, maybe like a Nolan Smith, you're probably not going to trade up, because you'd be, giving up your other 4th round pick, which is still pretty valuable, to get or to move up a couple of spots. I think if we get through these next few picks and the Chiefs still haven't traded up, I think what you could see happen is the Chiefs don't trade up, they stay where they're at, and they use one of their 4th round picks to move up tomorrow with one of their day 2 picks. Maybe they get maybe they pair their 2nd, their 4th to move up and get the receiver that they like in round 2. Or maybe they package their 3rd and their 4th to move back up late into the 2nd round. Those are options too. Trey Young points out that D-Hop said he would work out his contract. Yeah, I did see that. Question is, how low would he be willing to go? See, I don't know. I don't know how low he'd be willing to go. He'd have to go pretty low to come to KC, and the Cardinals would probably have to take on a lot of his contract. But the better scenario financially would be for him to get cut, because then the Cardinals would be basically paying everything just to get rid of him. And then you'd be paying pennies on the dollar to add DeAndre Hopkins to your team. Ideally. Pick is in for the Giants, but to find out what that is. I didn't even see what the Giants pick was. So I'm about to find out here as Roger Goodell announces it. Watch it be Nolan Smith. Okay, Deontay Banks. Giants select cornerback Deontay Banks. Okay. Nolan Smith dream is still alive. The Bills are on the clock. Jaguars trade back. Bills are moving up for somebody. Who could Buffalo be going after here? Because if we want to keep the Nolan Smith dream alive, thinking of it in that perspective, the Bills don't really have a need for a pass rusher. But that said, you're talking about a prospect as good as Nolan Smith still being available this late. You might just, you're talking about a team drafting him, and even if they don't need him, they just figure out the rest later because they got a player they think can be really good. So say we don't get D-Hop. What is our view on this offseason? Well, it would also depend on what they do in the draft, because if they add a talented wide receiver like a Jalen Hyatt, like a Jonathan Mingo, Kayshon Boutte, Josh Downs, that type of guy, you still feel okay. You don't feel great. You probably don't have a number 1 wide receiver next year, but if you're adding someone talented to make you feel better about the group, it's okay. And as long as you filled the other needs, offensive tackle and edge, properly, if you've addressed those, you still view the offseason as a success, I think. Sorry, I can't talk. Aaron Purdue says, maybe we can sign Alex Okafor. I hope to God you're joking, because Alex Okafor is washed. The Bills did move up 2 spots, though, and they added pick 130 overall to move up a couple of spots. That run on wide receivers really took it out of me. What is the likelihood a day 2 wide receiver is going to all of a sudden take over and be a 1 or a 2? Well, not very high. And that's the thing is like, that's just, you're going to have to come to accept that, which sucks. I don't want that to be the case because I still believe that Mahomes needs some semblance of a wide receiver core for next year. You can't just roll out MVS, Tony, and Sky and think that's okay. Okay, you just can't. Travis Kelce has talked about how hard it's been for his body to keep playing the way it is, this far into his career at his age. So you got to add somebody. I don't know if that somebody's going to be a number 1 or a 2 next year, but if it's somebody that has upside, makes you feel a little bit better, can contribute next year, give you a few hundred yards, you're just gonna have to be happy with that. And then maybe you could add D-Hop, but if you don't add D-Hop, then yeah, that's what you're looking at. There was a lot of smoke around D-Hop, though. The Bills are going to crush my dreams of getting Nolan Smith, aren't they? Why is Nolan Smith falling this far? The Bills are taking the first tight end of the draft. They're taking Utah tight end, Dalton Kincaid at number 25. Wow. First tight end is off the board. Interesting for Buffalo. They had another tight end to go with Dawson Knox there. And that might eliminate the need for a wide receiver for Buffalo if they're adding a pass-catching tight end. Well, the Nolan Smith dream is alive, boys. Tonight has sucked, man. Board fell so good to bad in the last 30 minutes. Yeah, well, Sheree, tonight hasn't exactly sucked because the Boston Celtics are moving on to the next round of the NBA playoffs, but I agree with you for the most part. People are saying we should move up for Myles Murphy. You might not have to move up for Myles Murphy right now. And I still like Nolan Smith better. If you're going to move up, you get Nolan Smith. I think Nolan Smith is the better prospect. To hell with Myles Murphy. No, I would still like Myles Murphy, but go get Nolan Smith, man. He's right there. They have him rated as their 13th best prospect. We're at pick 25 right now. Pick 26 after the Bills' pick is made official. Trey. Shut up. All right. I'm getting tired, man. I'm ready for this to be wrapped up. I need these picks to start going by quicker. Please. I'm begging the NFL to speed this up. Well, the other thing too is that it would be cool to get Nolan Smith, but do you think Spags would want him? Well, that's a good question, Wyatt, because I don't really think if it was just up to Spags, no, I don't think he would want him. But the important thing to remember, and I preach this all draft process, is that you have Joe Cullen in the room now. Joe Cullen, the defensive line coach, he has a big influence on who the Chiefs could potentially take to add to their defensive line. Joe Cullen has name dropped Nolan Smith a lot through the pre-draft process. He coached the Georgia Pro Day where Nolan Smith was there. I think that there's a better chance than you would think of Nolan Smith coming to Kansas City because of the Joe Cullen connection and what he wants, the vision that he has for this defensive line. But anyway, I'm also getting afraid that the Chiefs could take Keion White here, and guys, I cannot preach to you enough how much I would hate Keion White, but also Keion White. I made that video about players I wouldn't take in the first round. I don't even think I would take Keion White in the first 2 rounds. He's old. He's old. He's an older prospect that's also a project, unpolished. He doesn't really have any pass rush moves. He doesn't know how to use his hands. Like I would hate Keion White, dude. I would hate that pick. Like Beach taking Keion White would be reminiscent of him taking Breeland Speaks. It would just be a massive reach, dude. And I feel like we're past that with Brett Beach. I feel like we're past, just massive reaches, taking guys like Keion White way before they should ever be selected. But I don't know. Cowboys are officially on the clock, though. At this point, it's Jacksonville, Cincinnati, New Orleans, Philadelphia, then KC. I don't know if you. I don't know if you. I don't know if I see a trade up anymore. I'm also surprised Kincaid was the first tight end off the board and not Michael Mayer. I think Michael Mayer is the closer. He's the better of the two. Where do the Cowboys go here? Will Levis still on the board. Dude was terrible at Kentucky, though, so I'm not totally shocked. He definitely kind of seemed like this year's Zach Wilson, where like the media and some of the teams were like pumping up the athletic traits and the arm talent, but dude just doesn't. He can't. He's not a good quarterback. Like he's not a good quarterback. That's the easiest way to put it. Michael Mayer is the tight end that's probably most like Travis Kelce in this draft. Let me be clear, there'll never be another Travis Kelce, but Michael Mayer might be the closest thing to him in this draft class. At least moves similarly. Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State University is also similar in that way. Michael Mayer is the better prospect, but similar in the way that he moves to Kelce. Oh boy, seeing Keion White up there scares me. I'm getting very tired. I need this Chiefs pick to come quick. And it's only 9:15, dude. Well, at least where I'm at. I'm in Mountain Time. It's only 9:15 here, but I'm just so tired already. Cowboys pick is in. I'm going to get really nervous once the Chiefs are on the clock. And it's because I feel like they're going to do something that I really don't like. Trying to find out what the Cowboys pick is. Just the thought of MBS's wide receiver one scares me. Yeah, you're not alone. Even though the Chiefs want to say Kadarius is their number one, like, he's not dependable. He's not dependable enough. MBS would be their number one. All right, and the Cowboys are going defensive tackle Motzie Smith from Michigan. So this is a guy that was linked to the Chiefs a lot leading up to the draft, kind of in the final days. Definitely seems like someone that would have been on the Chiefs board at pick 31, but he comes off the board of the Cowboys. That's a solid pick for them, man. He would have been real cool to see next to Chris Jones, but Ryan from RGR Football, he did come on my channel and cited some of his off-field concerns, and he didn't really like him for the Chiefs. He didn't think he'd be available enough. If he works out, or if he can work those things out, I think he could be a really good NFL player. Good defensive tackle too, with the defensive tackle one potential, can give you some pass rush, can defend the run. He has an NFL ready body, so that's a good pick for the Cowboys. He's got the pass rush upside, and he's ready to contribute now. I think as well, so that makes him an attractive pick. Come on, go get Nolan Smith. This is the speed rusher. This is the speed rusher that Kansas City has not had in so long. Go get a speed rusher. Go get a guy that can get to the quarterback in 2 seconds or less, can run around an offensive tackle, juke a tackle out of their shoes, can defend the run, runs around like crazy. Go freaking get Nolan Smith, dude. I'm begging for it. The upside is just unlimited. I don't care if he's on the lighter side. I don't care if he's smaller. The dude hits like a truck. He can play the run, which will get him on the field early as a rookie. And he's the type of fastball that you need to throw at offenses. Because, like, you have George Karlaftis and Omenihu, and those guys are solid. They're good. They're power rushers purely, though. Nolan Smith, he had the best first step of anyone on this team. He would absolutely he'd absolutely wreck shit with Chris Jones, dude. Give me Nolan Smith. I want it so bad. I need it. We're so close to it happening. Well, I will say, guys, we are 2.5 hours strong. I started this at like pick 4 or 5, and y'all, most of you stuck with me to this point, which I appreciate that. Not a super big crowd tonight, but I appreciate it, y'all. We're powering through this. We're almost to Kansas City's pick. I'm confident in Brett Veach, but I really don't want him to make a pick. I would absolutely hate here. I feel like the pull with Joe Cullen is enough to take a guy like Nolan Smith if he's available. But I could also see them going Miles Murphy. Philadelphia picking right before Kansas City worries me a little bit, though, because they're definitely a best player available type of team when it comes to drafting. Obviously, they love the Georgia Bulldogs, guys. They love the Georgia Defenders. They already have Nakobe Dean. They have Jordan Davis. They already selected Jalen Carter earlier tonight. And I could definitely see them being like, hey, screw it. Nolan Smith is here. Let's take him. I could so see them doing that and just having like an all Georgia defense. But it probably wouldn't be worth it for KC just to jump Philadelphia. You know? Pick is in for Jacksonville. That Dov Kleeman guy reported that the Cowboys were selecting Nolan Smith, and he was just flat out wrong. Why does this dude pretend to be a reporter? Dov Kleeman sucks. 3 picks away, man. Nolan Smith, Miles Murphy, Brian Bresee. They're all there. Who is Jacksonville taking? I need to find out like ASAP. The Jaguars are drafting offensive tackle Anton Harrison with the 27th overall pick. Another offensive tackle off the board. A lot of people liked him to Kansas City. With offensive tackles going earlier tonight, it's not surprising that Anton Harrison is off the board before KC's pick. He's a guy that would have kind of fit what KC wants to do. Athletic, he's a mover. Maybe has some potential to play left tackle in the future, but definitely could compete for right tackle coming in as a rookie if KC were to select them. Obviously, he goes to Jacksonville, though, who had a need as they lost Jawan Taylor to Kansas City this offseason. So this pick makes a ton of sense for the Jaguars. And, hey, I still like the way the board looks for Kansas City right now. At this point, I think they're probably going to go edge, especially with Anton Harrison off the board. You know, I said earlier with the run on offensive tackles and those guys being taken earlier that Kansas City probably wasn't going to go offensive tackle tonight. Harrison being off the board probably cements that. I'm shocked that the Chiefs have not traded up. I'm genuinely shocked. I thought they would have. But like I said, it would have been tough for them to do that. Also worth noting that Cam Robinson, the Jaguars' other offensive tackle, is being suspended for performance-enhancing drugs. So the Jaguars are really screwed at tackle. So, yeah, they really kind of needed to make this pick. Could we see Jalen Hyatt go to the Chiefs at the end of the first round? I told you all earlier tonight, though, I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. I know a lot of people are down on Jalen Hyatt. I really would not hate it. Dude's got speed to burn. I know he didn't run as fast at the 40 that people wanted him to, but he ran past DBs at Tennessee, the Lindekoff winner. I think Andy would know what to do with him. can stretch the field. He as a rookie, he would have a very specific role, but his very specific role would be like having a McCole Hardman type rookie year, getting a bunch of bombs thrown to him, 500 yards, like 5 touchdowns. You can work with that with him being a rookie. Adding him, if you were to draft Jalen Hyatt, it makes your wide receiver room better. Watt says, at this point, if you play for the Georgia defense, just pack your bags for Philly. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That seems to be the philosophy. Eric, we back for the Chiefs pick. Nice to see you. Celtics moved on to the next round. So that's nice. Trey's happy about that. I believe Will Levis and Keon White are like 2 of the last guys in the green room. We know the Chiefs aren't going to draft Will Levis. Makes me scared they might draft Keon White. Pick is in for the Bengals. That was quick. Are the Bengals taking Michael Mayer? Ooh, the Bengals are selecting Clemson edge Miles Murphy at number 28. 6'5", 276-pounder, had 17.5 sacks across 3 years at Clemson. So Miles Murphy to Cincinnati. He joins Trey Hendrickson, Joseph Osai, Sam Hubbard. That's a dangerous stable of pass rushers for the Cincinnati Bengals. And you can't really blame him for making that pick. That was a guy that definitely would have been an option for Kansas City. He would have been a fit for Kansas City. But Nolan Smith is still there. That's the important thing, guys. Nolan freaking Smith. Come on. Come on, Chiefs. We are 2 picks away from Kansas City selecting, and Nolan Smith is still on the board. I know I said Philly could take him. Philly doesn't need defensive line help. New Orleans, maybe. Come on, man. We are 2 picks away from Nolan Smith being a Kansas City Chief. I would be ecstatic if the Chiefs did not have a wide receiver coming out of the first round if this is Nolan Smith, dude. Give me Nolan Smith. I've been banging the table for it all night, especially since we had the run on wide receivers. Nolan Smith deserves to be a Chief. Joe Cullen loves them. Do not let Joe Cullen down. What are you guys feeling right now? If Nolan Smith is gone, we might trade out of the first entirely and try everything to trade for D-Hop. D-Hop's not going to require any more than like a day 2 pick, so KC can still do whatever they want in the first round and still get D-Hop if they really wanted to do that. Please don't mess this up, Veach. I swear, if Nolan Smith is on the board and this dude takes Keon White, I'm immediately slamming my laptop and the stream will be over, dude. You have no idea how upset that would make me if these dudes do that. But Saints are on the clock. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then I will be right back, guys, to hop back on the stream. Okay, I'm back. I've seen on my timeline that some Chiefs fans are wanting us to take Joey Porter Jr. if he's there. I just don't think I could stomach taking a cornerback in the first round. Like Snead's in a contract year, yes, but you have Snead, you have McDuffie, you have Jalen Watson, you have Joshua Williams. Like, don't take a corner in round 1. Not at 31, dude. Not if Nolan Smith is there. Nolan Smith, Michael Mayer. I mean, people are saying Nolan Smith might be falling because of his medicals, but teams tend to overcomplicate this where players fall because of medicals and then they end up being just fine, and you miss out on a really good player because you're concerned about medicals. Which, look, medicals are a big deal because that determines a player's availability. I mean, like Caleb Fairley's medicals were important a couple years ago. That dude may never be able to play football again with the surgeries he's had, but hopefully the Chiefs have done their homework, because I don't want to hear that they passed on Nolan Smith because of medicals and then later Nolan Smith ends up being a beast. Come on, Saints, make the pick. Make the pick, Saints. I just would not be thrilled with the cornerback. Look at the needs on this team, dude. I don't think you need to be taking a cornerback. And again, Nolan Smith is on the board. You guys can tell I'm tired, right? Draft season's been a long one this year. They're going to take Keon White, dude. I can already feel it. Can Philly just take Keon White so we can be done with that mess? What do you guys think was the biggest shock of the night so far? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious because we saw a lot of surprises in the first round tonight. Who do you think was the biggest shock? Jalen Carter falling to 9? Anthony Richardson at 4? I still never found out who the Saints selected. I'm about to see it now. Oh, Brian Brezzi is off the board to New Orleans. So both the big Clemson DL are off the board. JSN falling to 20. Yeah, that's pretty surprising. Gibbs at 12. That was a good one. You played against Brezzy in high school basketball? Really? How did that come to be? Was he good? Philly, don't F this up. I know. Guys, we got one pick until the Chiefs selection. I was a sophomore, and a bunch of us got called up from JB, and we played his school, Damascus. It was his senior year. Interesting. I'm really afraid this pick is going to be Keon White. What are the Eagles thinking? You know they're talking about Nolan Smith right now in the Eagles war room. Is the pick in? I swear to God, if the Eagles get Nolan Smith, dude. We're getting really close, guys. I'm getting nervous. Eagles haven't made their selection yet. Chiefs are up next. Nolan Smith could very well be available. The broadcast is talking about him, though, and usually when the broadcast talks about somebody, they're about to come off the board. So I hope that doesn't mean Nolan Smith to Philadelphia. But, man, Philadelphia, like, they just seem like a team. It's like, yeah, let's go get Nolan Smith. Let's put these Georgia guys together. Come on, Eagles, put in the pick. Just give me the Chiefs pick. Can the Eagles just take Keon White, please, for the love of God, so we don't have to hear about that anymore? Or that possibility can be wiped off the board? Damn it. The Eagles are selecting Nolan Smith, edge at number 30. You knew they were going to do it, dude. You knew that the Eagles were going to take Nolan Smith. Damn it, dude. Howie Roseman, you mother effer. Of course you got Nolan Smith. God damn, dude. The Eagles are so damn good at this. Who allowed the Eagles to get Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter? The Eagles have won the draft. Honestly, if you're the Chiefs, just trade back at this point. There's not even really anyone worth taking at 31. I'm not a fan of taking a defensive back here. I just trade back. Philly is just basically little Georgia. Yeah, they are. Those cocky mother effers, the Eagles. Did they take Michael Mayer, the tight end? Chiefs are on the clock, guys. Although it's disappointing because none of the wide receivers we wanted are there, and there's no Nolan Smith, and there's not really any exciting edges available. If they take Keon White, if I shut this laptop off, you guys know they took Keon White. I won't even say anything. I'm just I'm gonna end the stream. Just trade back, dude. Get more assets. Reset for tomorrow. The board didn't fall the way you wanted it to. You didn't trade up. Man, it's tough seeing the Chiefs not trade up after the way the board fell. Really tough not seeing them trade up. Who let the Eagles get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith? Eagles, Philadelphia is just obsessed with Georgia. The Eagles really got Carter and Smith in the same round, dude. Just trade back. Donna Kelsey's announcing the pick for the Eagles. These guys are going to take Keon White. Did the Chiefs trade back and let some quarterback team or team that wants Hendon Hooker trade up and get Hendon Hooker so they can get that fifth-year option with him? I feel like that's realistic. Or Will Levis, but I feel like Hooker is more likely. At this point, I'm fine with Mayer over Keon White. Yeah. Chiefs are on the clock. I'm getting nervous. I swear if I see Keon White's name go across my screen, dude. I swear to God if I see his name go across my screen. Or DeJuan Jones. I don't really like DeJuan Jones either. I don't. He's not a fit for the Chiefs. He can't move on his feet. He's Orlando Brown 2.0. Seeing Nolan Smith go to Philly just makes me mad. Look at the speed, man. Look at the quickness, the hand usage. They visited with White. I know. It scares me too. Who do we take here? I can't believe we didn't trade up. I thought it was a given that we would trade up. I thought it was a question of when, not if. Can't believe they let Philadelphia do that. Could we see the Chiefs trade back? The Super Bowl champions are on the clock. James Draws is announcing our pick, I think. No, I think that was a day 3 pick. I don't think he's doing this one. I could be wrong. I imagine the Chiefs are working the phones right now, seeing what they can do at this pick. I'm so nervous right now, dude. Who do they take? Hyatt? Mayer? There's Brett Veach. What do we do here? 2 minutes on the clock. You know Brett Veach is calling every single team right now, asking if they want a quarterback. We're so close, guys. The pick is coming. I'm shocked they didn't trade up. A minute left on the clock. The pick is in. The pick is in, guys. Trying to see who it is. Someone said Josh Downs. Josh Downs is not a first rounder. The odds say Joey Porter Jr. I'm trying to find out what the pick is. It's in. It's going to be tweeted here any second. I'm so nervous. Please do not be Keon White. The Chiefs are taking K-State defensive end Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Okay, this is a solid pick. This is a good pick. FAU out of K-State. This was a guy heavily linked to the Chiefs. He's a local guy. He's not far from Kansas City whatsoever. Played for K-State, led K-State in sacks last year. Really strong player. Not the greatest run defender, but the effort is there. The frame is there. He is a Spags end. He's got plenty of bend, though. This is the important thing about Felix, is that he has plenty of bend for a Spags end. This is actually a really good pick. I like this. This is a safe pick. The Chiefs fixed their defensive end need. I like this. Felix Anudike-Uzomah is the newest Kansas City Chief. So if you guys just hold on a second, I'm going to pull up his RAS score and I'm going to pull up his draft profile so you guys can get a little bit better of an idea about him. But this is a really good pick, guys. I like this. I mean, of the guys that were available, I love it. I didn't have a first-round grade on him. I thought he was better suited in the second round, but with the way the board fell and you had to pick at 31, you couldn't do much worse than FAU. And Trey, I see you're saying that we could have gotten him in the second round. See, that's the thing. It's like I had a second-round grade on him. I don't think you could have gotten him in the second round, though. And this is just the way the board fell. But, hey, the exciting thing is about this that you still have your second, your third, and both your fourth. So you can move up tomorrow for somebody that you really like. DeAndre Hopkins trade is still on the table. So I like this. And this is a local guy, too. This is awesome seeing him have his moment. A local guy from the Kansas City area coming to the Chiefs, reigning Super Bowl champions. See, I'm not as upset about this as you, Trey. I like this pick. Let me pull up his RAS for you guys real quick. Give me your instant reactions to Felix Anudike-Uzomah becoming the newest Chief, guys. Let me hear it from you. What do you think? I like that he has some bend. A Spags defensive end with some bend. I love it. He's going to pair real nicely. This takes care of the Chiefs' defensive end room. Karlaftis, FAU, Charles Menahue, Mike Dana. That's a really freaking solid defensive end room. FAU is going to play a lot as a rookie, too. I don't think this is a big reach. I disagree, Trey. I don't think it's a big reach. You could argue it's a slight reach. I had a second-round grade on him. It's not that big of a reach. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen with you guys real quick. Clark Hunt's announcing the pick. Let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, so you guys can see this from what I understand. Yeah, so here's his RAS. You're looking at a guy that doesn't have the greatest size, but he's still like, not bad. We're talking about a guy that's a little above 6 feet, 250 pounds. That's not bad for a Spags end. He's got solid size. Vertical, you can see 34 inches. He had a good broad jump. He graded out elite when it came to agility. He's a flexible dude. He can turn the corner pretty well. He's got some bend. I love seeing a defensive end with some bend for the Chiefs. His motor is super high. If you're watching the draft broadcast right now, you'll see they'll show you his highlights. I mean, he has a really good dip move. He can get under the tackle's arms. He's relentless. I like this. He's a good finisher on his tackles. This is a guy that's going to convert a lot of pressures into sacks, in my opinion, and that's something that we haven't seen the Chiefs be great at over the last few years. As guys, usually they're good at getting pressure, but not so much at getting the sacks. FAU should look to change that. And you can see on his RAS that he also has 33.5-inch arms. That's pretty good. That's going to allow him to engage with the blocker pretty well and use his length to kind of push them off of him and make his move. So I like this pick. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go to the Draft Network's analysis for him, and then I'll go ahead and read you guys what they had to say about him because I really like their write-ups that they do on these guys. Just give me a second, guys. I'm pulling it up. All right. Let me go ahead and share my other screen with you. All right, here we go. So this is from the Draft Network. So 8.5 sacks, 9 QB hits, 8 tackles for a loss, 28 total tackles in the 2022 season. Top reasons to buy in: functional strength, core strength, high motor, pass rush repertoire, polished pass rush moves, flexibility, bend. That's the most important part. That's what I wanted in our next defensive end. This is a guy that actually has plenty of bend. Their top reasons for concern are position-specific skill set, which is fine. That's not really too much of a downside, and limited experience. Also not a terrible thing. You know, he's going to come in here. He's going to get coached up by this coaching staff. He has solid size. And then just a little bit on his profile. In his 3-year career at Kansas State, FAU has been very productive, totaling 100 tackles, 20 sacks, and 8 forced fumbles. Anudike-Uzomah has received many accolades for his play on the field, including being named 2021-2022 Big 12 First Team All-American, 2022 Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year, and 2022 Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. Explosive first step, functional level core strength, good lateral agility, all things you want to hear about a Steve Spagnuolo defensive end coming in. This is a guy that offers you something a little bit differently than the other Chiefs defensive ends already on roster. Charles Omenihu, he's not the bendiest. He has a good first step, but he's still mostly a power rusher. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, I wouldn't even really call him a speed rusher, but he doesn't have a ton of power either, and he's got, you know, again, the functional athleticism and the bend. He's going to be able to get to the quarterback fairly easily, in my opinion. It gives you a little bit more flexibility and bend than George Karlaftis, and George Karlaftis can hold it down on the other side. I like this pick, guys. That's just kind of my quick reaction on it, though, how I feel. But, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. You saw my reaction to the pick. The Chiefs stand pat. They stay at pick 31. They end up picking up Anudike-Uzomah, the local star from K-State, fills a massive need on this team, fills the defensive end need. You still have your 2nd and 3rd round pick tomorrow, and you also have both of your 4th round picks still that you could use to move up. Wide receiver and offensive tackle ideally are going to be addressed tomorrow, hopefully in some combination. I like what Veach did here. I do. Veach is kill, and I know some of you're not super happy with it. Yeah, he's not Nolan Smith, blah, yada, yada, yada. Let Brett Veach do his thing. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. After the past few years, what he's done in the draft, the way he's cool, calm, collected, let Brett Veach do his thing. I promise you will not be disappointed. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. But that's all I got for tonight, guys. That's my quick reaction. I got an article to write for Arrowhead Addict on the instant reaction to this pick across Twitter. So I'm going to go ahead and get on that. Good night to all of you. Thank you for joining me tonight. You did not have to come on with me tonight and spend 3 hours with me, but I appreciate you all who did, or any of you that just popped in here at one point or another. I appreciate it. I love this pick. I'm happy. I'm glad it wasn't Keon White. So, yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. So with all that being said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe so more Chiefs fans can find this. Make sure you check out my work on showmefootball.com and arrowheadaddict.com, and I will see you all in the next one. Go Chiefs!